Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a project I'm working on right now, and I'm making a set of hunting points for a friend of mine, and I'm using his local stone that he's got from Missouri to do these. I finished these here. He wanted some narrow Cahokia style points, and I think these are 3/4 inches at the base. So let's see, 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I don't know how many grains they are, but I can put that information in the description a little bit later. And I'm not sure what kind of stone this is, but it's pretty cool stuff. It's all raw stone. You can see I got a kind of a bad step fracture there. I'm having a little bit of an issue with the lighting in here. Hopefully this doesn't wash out too bad. And you notice I didn't make the notches very deep, and that's mainly for strength, but also it saves time, of course. For hunting, you don't want the blade snapping off right here between the notches. So these, I think these are good enough. Hopefully he thinks so too. Anyway, I got this material from him back in early December, and I still haven't finished this set, so I'm going to focus on this until I get it done. These are two more that are wider. I think these are 1 inch wide. Just slightly under 1 inch. Again, if you guys know what this stuff is, you can, make a comment and say, I know what that material is, but I have no idea really. I think some of this might be Pipe Creek. I think that might be Pipe Creek. It's very high quality raw stone. Very nice to work with. All this stuff's pretty good. But it has the typical raw stone drawbacks. The step fracturing can get pretty bad sometimes. So these over here, these are preforms that I made up for this size. I'm not too worried about the length. I can preserve the length pretty easily, but I'll make them kind of wide so that I can thin down if I need to. I think what I'll do is I'll just I'll nap one of these in this video to show you how I put a beveled edge on these, thin it down and trim it to the final shape and put the notches in. This is a different kind of style of Cahokia. Notches a little bit deeper. I want to make this a little fancier because he sent me some stone with fossils in it. It's really nice stuff. You can probably see it better in this one. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's a fossil, but let's see if I can find one in here. There's a couple right in here. Little shell fossils. There's some seams and some imperfections in this stone. So, but it looks like it didn't really affect it much as far as the stability. I was able to nap through that stuff, but you can see there's some seams in there. I'm sure he's not going to be hunting with this, so it should be fine. Snyder's type, if I didn't mention that. Okay, so this is the same material as that Snyder's. Okay, you can see some fossils in here. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, so these are the preforms for this size. Again, the length is pretty close, and it's the width that I allow myself, plenty of extra. They don't need to be thinned down much more. I try to make my preforms as smooth as possible so I won't have issues later. Hopefully I won't have an issue with that. It looks like I could probably cheat and grip onto that, or tap that off with the indirect percussion flaker so it won't be so high. And I made a little, I don't know what you call that point, but I got the preform kind of oval shaped, and then I just did some simple base work on this, but it's got some interesting minerals in here, so I thought it was kind of cool. Alright, and then he wanted some serrated points, so I'm making this style here, and this is the preform for that. Again, I think that's Pipe Creek, but I'm not sure. Could be Sonora, although I don't know if Sonora is local to his area. Okay, so I'm going to knap one of these. See how that works. I'm going to be using the 1/4 inch tip for most of this. Let's see. Okay, I think I said I'm going to use this one here. So this is the goal here. I'm going to go ahead and quickly pressure flake this. Get a little bit of a beveled edge on it. It's pretty smooth, so I don't see any major issues that I need to address right away. I did a thinning pass along this edge this way, and then I turned it over and did another one here. That was the last thing I did on this one. So let me clean that up. And pressure flaking is not something I'm very good at, and I don't really practice it all that much. This is just simple, you know, downward trimming, not trying to drive flakes or anything. In upcoming videos, I'm going to be practicing a lot on my pressure flaking and get my failures and hopefully successes on video. Hopefully more successes than failures. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting a feel for the stone to see how easily it flakes. It flakes really easy, even though it's raw. This is really nice stuff. I guess I could try to pressure off that little bump there. Yeah, okay. This is about worn out almost. I sharpened it like a pencil, or I've been sharpening it. I can't do that too much because it'll split. If this material, this plastic, is too thin, it'll split because of the bending. It's already 9 minutes. So I might do this in 2 parts. We'll see. I still got plenty of room. I'm going to flatten out the base. Now I had a request to do a video on beveling. I might show some of that here in this video, but there's some other point types that have lots of beveling on them, so even if I do show it on this video a little bit, I'm going to definitely do or dedicate a video specifically to beveling as a resharpening strategy, and also as a strategy for making certain point styles. Okay, so alright, so there's a slight bevel on these edges so I can strike this way. But what I'm going to do is I'll just dull these and I'll just take opportunistic flakes wherever I need them. Hopefully I'll stay in the frame and I won't wander up like I've been doing. Picked up a new hammerstone yesterday. So let's see. Yeah, it's extremely hard. Let's see. Get one that's a little softer. Now I have a commercial abrader, or part of a grinding wheel. But with something this small, those commercial abraders are pretty cool. You can abrade really fast, but sometimes that abrades way too much, and your edge gets way too dull. Hope you can see with that lighting. Okay. I'm just going to start working on the lumpy spots. You gotta be careful not to get too thin there. I know that sounds kind of funny, but after you get used to thinning, you have to be careful that you don't thin down a spot too much. Starting to get a little wave in it, so I'm going to try to take that out now. That was a pretty good flake. I just wanted to see where it was. Let's see. Now a lot of guys, when they use indirect percussion, there's two things that most people really like about it. The accuracy and the ability to thin down a point to make really thin bifaces. But that's all fine, but what I like best is the conservation of the edge and the conservation of material. I hardly lost anything off the edge. It didn't make it more narrow, or barely so. Just those little nicks. That's the only thing I lost off this edge as I'm doing this. So it helps me preserve material and keep the width. And it's slipping a little bit because the material is pretty hard, but it does flake fairly easily. Okay, I can take some off the base here. I need to thin down this middle portion anyway. Now when I hit the base, I try not to hit straight in. I try to hit so it goes at an angle this way or that way. It's just to help prevent the end snap. It doesn't always work, but I tend to strike, down in this way. It puts kind of a twisting force on it instead of a bending force. See how the flakes are going this way a little bit? See, it's extremely tiny platform. Didn't lose much of that edge, but I was able to thin it down quite a bit. That's what I like about indirect, mostly. Doing this scratching back on the platforms helps me set up just the right kind of bevel. That one didn't go very far, but it was okay. I might switch over to a smaller tool here in a minute. That way I can get in, be more precise. 17 minutes. I'm not going to thin it down too much because it's a hunting point. I want it to be durable. I am going to take my commercial abrader and get in there just to save time. Okay, good enough. Well, maybe a little more off the base. It's good enough in terms of thickness, I think. Let's see. Yeah, just need to take a little more of this off here, and then I'll be fine. So I'm just going to clean it up again. Now I've got a hard pad in there somewhere, I just can't find it. I've got to be careful with this soft pad that I don't snap the tip off when I'm doing this. I don't recommend doing or using a soft pad at this stage. I guess I should say flexible pad. I have a rigid little pad that I use. Okay. So I've got a lot of room at the base. I'm going to remove some of that. Well, I'll work on the tip first, in case that snaps off while I'm doing this. I don't want to take too much off the base and then snap the tip off and then say, whoops, I'm not going to be able to match my pattern. Little thinning flake. Okay. I'm going to send some flakes from the base up this way, so I'm going to turn the edge upward. I got plenty of length to work with here. Okay. Hit that one pretty hard, but it didn't go all the way. I can get that step fracture from the side. I'm gonna hit the next one pretty hard too. See, that was able to, it stopped at the step, but it had enough power behind it that it kicked off another flake. It can be good, and sometimes it's not so good, because now there's really no ridge here to cross over and try to eliminate that, so I've got to get it from this side. But if you're not worried about steps, it's fine. But who's not worried about steps, right? Alright, so this flaker tip is getting a little too big for what I want to do. Like right there, I was trying to eliminate some of that, but the platform has to be a lot stronger than what I've got. But I am going to take a few more big flakes off and try to get rid of that step in there. I guess I could come down this way. Yeah, I'm going to send one here from this upper one first, and if that doesn't go all the way, I still have this one here I can use. That's pretty good. It didn't take all of it off though. So next one down should do it, hopefully. And I put some pressure upwards to see if it'll crush. If it doesn't crush and it seats well, it should work. But if I put pressure upward and I hear little crunching sounds, it means the platform is still too weak. Okay. Still got some left. Let's see if I can move it like this. Yeah, not bad, not bad. The danger with that though is sometimes when you hit those steps like that, the flake will dive in and you'll get a weak spot where it dives in. You can kind of see it there. It dived in a little bit when I struck the edge of that step, so it kind of dished out a little area. But sometimes those flakes will go in and there'll be a crack just under the surface, and you don't want that because then it weakens the point right there. It could snap off. It could snap when you do the notches or when you're shooting the arrow, shooting it into something. It could snap right there. So let's see, I'll do a few more thinning flakes. There's some areas I need to thin all the way down, so let me do that. Still using the 1/4 inch. I use it for most things nowadays. It saves time and also less maintenance. It doesn't wear down very quick. It also gives me some nice wide flakes. I need to do some more narrow flake napping. I'm not really good at narrow flake napping. Let's see. Now that one, I gotta strike it pretty hard on the next one to get rid of that stepping area. I don't want to create an island right there in the middle. So I hit that one really hard. Pretty good. Still see a thick area right there. Okay, I'm just going to leave that in there, that little fan-shaped flake. That's fine. Just a little more thinning near the tip, and I think the thickness has been established. So all I have to do after this is just trim it and notch it. I've hit that area 2 or 3 times already and it's starting to crush. So I'm just going to leave it, thin down the rest of this. Oops. Step fracture. Let's see if I can power through that one. Okay. Alright. So I may have thinned it down just a little bit too much. That's not bad. Okay, so yeah, I'll just trim it. It's already 31 minutes. I haven't uploaded to my account in a while, and the last time I uploaded took forever, so hopefully it won't take too long to upload this video. I think when you're inactive, it takes forever for the videos to upload until you start uploading quite a bit. I don't know, that's just a theory. When I trim like this, I get little bitty step fractures along the edge that are kind of annoying. So I'll try to get rid of those with a flattened pressure flaker instead of a rounded like this. Let's see how it's going. I still got a lot to go. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're just nibbling the edge like this, it could take a while. The weather is not so bad today, so I went ahead and came out here and see if I could make some videos. It's supposed to cool down again tomorrow. But right now it's nice. I'm in my shop to get out of the wind because it is kind of windy right now.